on both globally and locally. Please note that if there is a publication that you need read at this time, do not hesitate to email me at adunbar@tacnetwork.org or call 781-834-4400. We're happy to make changes and adjustments to our program schedule to suit what you need. TAC's staff and volunteers are working hard to serve you and assist in any way possible during these uncertain times. We are here for you. Thank you and stay healthy.
Hi, this is Bob Branco. We all know that the coronavirus affects everyone in one way, shape, or form, including blind people. This leaves questions from the blind community about their circumstances during this crisis. It is for this reason that I am holding weekly coronavirus support groups on a conference line every Thursday beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you would like to get involved, please email me at branco182@verizon.net. That's Branco, BRANCO, 182@verizon.net, or call 508-994-4972 for more information about our coronavirus weekly support group for blind consumers.
What happened to my seat here?
This is the Talking Information Center, a window to get access to local volunteers reading over 300 newspapers, magazines, and books specific to your community.
Now available on your smart speaker by saying, play
do
radio
have to
station
put that new
Talking
log,
Information
but,
Center.
For comments and more information,
wild.
call 781-834-4400
It's outdated.
or
It's outdated by a
visit
couple of weeks.
icnetwork.org.
Thank you for
I bet you put
listening.
it out yesterday.
No. I had it left over from a couple of weeks ago.
Broadcasting live from the Federal Credit Union Studios at 14 Church Green, we are AM 1530 WVBF, Middleboro.
Chris does come, I'm gonna stay on my red mic.
Red mic?
Yeah, I don't like
Middleboro Center,
it.
99.7 FM,
That's the one.
Hometown Talk Radio.
Sounds fine. Sounds fine to me.
Yeah, as soon as you get the news going.
Yep. Gonna vlog here in a second once I get the news up and going here. Good morning, everybody. It's a very cold morning.
Scott on?
Yeah, Scott is
Tell
on.
him to call later.
Scott, if you have time today, call 508-822-1106.
Tell him, later on we're talking about we'll be talking about the opening of the country.
Yeah, he can hear you here.
Okay, he could, okay, hey Scotty, where's my book, schmuck? Call in later, because we'll be talking about, opening the country. Get some ideas, maybe around, I don't know, 7:40 or something, after the second break or something.
Yeah, right after the second break. You can call it during the break, too, and we'll be able to pick up.
But then again, who knows when we're talking about it. This
After the second break, I'll make sure. I'll make sure that happens.
yeah.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
Federal officials admitting that sloppy lab work at the Centers for Disease Control led to contaminated coronavirus tests that put the nation behind in the early days of the pandemic. Meanwhile, the U.S. now has the highest number of infections and deaths from COVID-19. But the focus lately is on where and when to reopen the economy and restore normal life. Yesterday, many in Florida flocked to beaches for the first time in weeks after Republican Governor Ron DeSantis let mayors reopen them as long as social distancing is observed. But in New York City, some want Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo to shut down the subway for 2 weeks. Here's Queens Council member Robert Holden.
So few people are taking the subway. Ridership's way down, 90% or more.
Transit officials say a shutdown would hamper essential workers and lead to even more deaths. This is USA Radio News.
Attention all radio listeners who still need food supplies. If
To
you
talk
thought
about
the
or
implications of
argue
food-related
about it.
supply chain disruptions and
What's
are
that?
concerned
That-
about the
that's what
coming
Scott just said.
quarantines, this will be the most important message you will ever hear. Here's why. In the next few days, all Americans will face extremely hard choices. If we've learned anything from China and Italy, it's that quarantines and enforced lockdowns are just a few days away here in the U.S. Listen, while
2
dehydrated
days away, that's old.
scarce, you can still get enough open pollinated heirloom seeds to grow a 1 acre
No, it's not.
crisis garden.
It's
The truth
refreshed
is,
news.
growing
I
nutrient-dense
refreshed it.
vegetables
No,
for
I'm
days
just saying,
ahead may
the
actually
commercial
be
itself
the
sold.
single most important thing you do. Go to survivalseedbank.com and watch the new video to understand the nature of the threat. This could be life-saving. Lockdowns can last from 6 to 8 weeks. Get free bonus seeds, special quarantine reports too. Go to survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com.
All these survival companies, I love
Two
it. That's-
Republican lawmakers have introduced legislation
Yeah.
that would allow Americans to sue the Chinese government for damages caused by the coronavirus pandemic, which some U.S. officials have blamed on the Chinese.
Yeah.
Congressman Dan Crenshaw of Texas and Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas say it would allow Americans to sue Beijing by amending the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act. They allege that China purposely silenced doctors and journalists who tried to warn the world of the virus outbreak as early as last November. Retired General and Fox News analyst Jack Keane spoke on Fox News.
There has to be accountability for that. And this nation is onto it. And we're responding as a global leader to work with other nations.
In Texas, a police officer is dead and 2 others injured, one critically, after a domestic violence call in San Marcos. They responded to a domestic violence call in an apartment complex. When they arrived, the suspect started shooting at them. The suspect ended up dead.
31 in
This
top
is
and
USA
30 in
Radio
middle.
News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home.
Yeah,
Find
you log?
15 minutes
Yes.
twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled youmove.com.
President Trump says Democratic senators were rude and nasty.
Scott just said probably won't be able to call during show,
on Friday.
but we'll
The
call
president
while
says
you're
most of the
waiting in the
47
parking lot.
Democrats in the Senate were on the call for the briefing on the coronavirus pandemic, and reports are that the senators were frustrated with a lack of progress on testing for the virus. The president claiming the U.S. has done more testing than any other nation. People in Wisconsin will soon be able to hit the golf course. Governor Tony Evers has extended the state's stay-at-home order until May 26th, but did not provide an exception for some services, including golf courses, which will be open again this upcoming Friday, although they will come with a number of provisions, including no golf carts, no driving ranges, no clubhouses, and no pro shops allowed to be open, and golfers must, of course, maintain social distancing. Some of the biggest names in the music profession performed from their homes last night to raise money for the coronavirus relief efforts. The One World Together at Home broadcast was organized by the Global
Does he still
Citizen
work?
Hunger Relief Organization, and it was
Okay, go.
curated
Not sure.
by Lady Gaga to raise awareness and funds for those on the front lines of the coronavirus pandemic. The star-studded event featured Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney, Taylor Swift, and Jennifer Lopez. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
20, perfect. Got it. Okay. No, that's my bumper. Uh-oh. Played my bumper.
What's happening?
You smooth that in good, though.
What's happening in
What?
You smooth that in good.
Yeah.
It's time for the Middleboro
I try.
Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll.
You got to hate
Stay
Joey.
tuned for news, Middleboro News, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
You are red mic. Okay, let's do that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Middleboro in Review for the 19th of April, 2020. Well, for Patriots fans, tomorrow is the day where we figure out what our new uniforms are going to look like. So a couple days ago, they posted a teaser video about new uniforms. Now, what could these new uniforms be? I have my ideas about it, and we will talk about it during our sports segment. We'll also have a round table discussion on our thoughts on how the reopening of the country should be handled. We'll also have a couple of other different articles to talk about. We'll give you an update on the coronavirus impacts in Middleboro and in Taunton. And we'll also talk about the Sacred Heart Food Pantry as well. They are open, and we're gonna mention it during the show today. So we have a good show for you today. In Middleboro right now it is 30 degrees, and in Taunton it's 31. We're supposed to get up to 57 degrees this morning, so it's going to be pretty warm out there. It did snow this week, but that was pretty quickly gone the next day. So, we're going to say hello to Don.
Morning, Joe. Again, it's cold. It's been cold every Sunday morning for the last 3-4 weeks now, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it has been.
Plus the snow yesterday, that was pretty. Looking at the snow.
Yeah.
It was nice to look at. I don't think it impacted anything as far as... but anybody leaving today, the porch surface at our place was very slippery. So wood surfaces, porch surfaces from the frost we had. And we had frost on the car big time too. So we had to do our thing with the defrosters and the rear defrosters and stuff. But if you're heading out today, I'd say just take it easy on the porch. Take it easy on the wood surfaces around your house as far as leaving, because it was slippery. So I just don't want to catch you off guard considering it's April. It shouldn't be like that, but it is. This morning it was for us.
We also have an interesting little article that I found online about the best small town in each state. So it has a little thing about what the best small towns are.
So how are you going to tell the listeners? Do you guys maybe say, give them 10? Like every 10 minutes
I'm gonna give them 10.
Yeah, give them all of them, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give everyone all of them, and I'm gonna give you the
segments
first 10 now.
Oh, okay.
So
in alphabetical order.
yes, I'm gonna give you the ones that I can pronounce first. There's some in here that I will not be able to pronounce, just as a fair warning ahead of time. So the first one we have here is Prattville, Alabama. Chock full of historic buildings, this small town is set on the Attauga Creek, which proved to be a crucial location for its early beginnings as an industrial center. Nicknamed the Fountain City for its many artisan wells, this small town is now a popular destination for golfers. Stop by the old historic locations like the Bell House or play a round of golf at a nearby course. Don't miss Capitol Hill Golf Course, one of the stops on the Robert Tent Jones Golf Trail, which they which hosts one of the events for the Yokohama Tire LPGA Classic every year. So
That's interesting.
we have Prattville, Alabama.
I don't think it would be like at 50 done in the show if you gotta talk about every one of them, right? Maybe we can hang on to the list and do it over the course of a few weeks. What do you
We
think?
have I'm gonna talk about a few more though.
Okay.
We have Bisbee, Arizona, and I'll say a little bit about this. The stunning setting of Bisbee at the edge of Tombstone Canyon and in the foothills of the Mule Mountains should be enough to persuade you to come here. If it isn't, then the city's bohemian vibe and thriving art scene should. In Old Bisbee, the historic center, artist studios, breweries, galleries, and hotels occupy 19th century former miners' homes. And the last one we're going to talk about
For now, right?
for now,
Okay.
we might talk about a few more today, is Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Some say that this city in the Ozarks resembles Switzerland with its mountain backdrop, winding, hilly roads, and elegant architecture. Whether you agree or not, there's no denying that Eureka Springs is a great place to escape from the bustle of big cities. There's boutiques, galleries, and parks to keep you busy, and bars, music festivals, and an annual UFO conference to keep you entertained. So that is the first couple on the article. Over the next, let's say, month, we're gonna talk about this.
You know, it's important how it's funny how you happen upon that article because everyone's itching to get out, and at some point the country will be reopened. And I think a good percentage of people, when they take their vacation, first of all, the vacations are blown. Now, everyone's taking their vacation, sitting at home for 2 months. But, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who's going to try to, but next year or the year after, I think a lot of people are going to spend their vacation in the United States more than going overseas or to Europe.
All right, we're going to do one more because one of our listeners here on the Facebook wants to hear one more about Georgia.
Oh, Georgia's next, yeah.
Helen, Georgia. European charm, the crisp mountain air of Helen in northeast Georgia. The minute you set foot in the town, you'll notice heavy Barovian influences in the architecture, bakeries, and restaurants. There's boundless outdoor opportunities, namely hiking and tubing as well, and alpine-themed mini golf courses. So
I think
that
the
is
northeast section of Georgia is where the Appalachian Trail starts, somewhere up in one of those towns. I know that. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure if it's that town or not, but that's where the Appalachian Trail starts or ends, depending on which way you're going. A lot of people start in the south. Well, do they start in the south? No, they head south. I don't know, because they can't hit the Maine too late in the season, because Baxter State Park, I know, closes in October and late October and whatnot. So you're not gonna be, you don't want to be hiking in the White Mountains in the northern New England in November. I'm not sure if people hit. Remember we went to Florida, Mass that day?
yes.
And we were talking those hikers, people are doing the Appalachian Trail. Remember we were talking to those people? Do you remember if they were heading north or south? I think they were heading south.
I'm not 100% sure. I think you're right.
They were heading
I'm
south,
not 100%
weren't they?
sure.
Yeah, they were heading south, I think. So you have to start, you technically have to start like in May, in Maine, maybe June. I don't know.
All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the Sacred Heart Food Pantry. We did mention this about 2 weeks ago. So the Sacred Heart Food Pantry is keeping their regular hours during the coronavirus outbreak. The Sacred Heart Food Pantry is open during its regular hours to serve residents of Middleboro, Carver, Lakeville, and Rochester during these difficult times. Anyone impacted by recent business closings is welcome. In order to protect anyone, like pantry volunteers, the first contact needs to be done by phone. Please call 508-947-1717 and select option 2. Leave your name and phone number. A pantry volunteer will call you to arrange food distribution. Please do not come without having the necessary information taken by the pantry personnel over the phone. The food pantry is adhering to all federal, state, and local guidelines to protect both our patrons and our volunteers. It is following both sanitary and social distancing precautions. If any of the current patrons have questions about coming to the pantry, please call to discuss your concerns. The Sacred Heart Food Pantry is located at the rear entrance of 53 Oak Street in Middleboro. It is open on the first and third Wednesday mornings of the month from 8:30 to 11 a.m. It is also open on the second and fourth Wednesday afternoons from 4 to 6:30 p.m. The pantry is open on Saturday mornings from 8:30 to 11 a.m. Donations of food are welcome. This is especially true because of the local grocery store donations are down during these troubled times. Non-perishable food and personal care items be most helpful. And food donations can be dropped off at the pantry weekdays around 7 a.m. on Tuesday and Friday. They can be delivered from 7 to 10:30 a.m.
Again, that's a good article. It's good that you let people know that it's still available for people. And that location on Oak Street, isn't that the same spot where we met Cardinal Sean O'Malley? Is that building, you think? The one that's on the corner?
It might be.
I think it is.
I'm not 100% sure.
Remember we met him?
Yes.
Because he did the, and then it was funny because I remember talking to Cardinal O'Malley, and he was talking about, it was funny, it was a great story because he was talking about they all did a trip to Israel, and they were going to Jerusalem, and they were going to the Mount or something, I'm not sure the name of it, but they said the way they went up was in like an old 1969 Mercedes, and he said he was so scared, but that was the way that was the quickest way up. He said those drivers were like unbelievable because the road was so. I remember that conversation. That was great. It was great meeting him. I have so much respect for Cardinal Sean O'Malley. I was in awe talking to him. Remember that? That was a while ago. It was about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
I think
about then. Yeah.
Tried to get to church that day, and we ended up, and then they had a time. They had coffee and donuts or whatnot, a little refreshments across the way. I think that's where that location is. Where the pantry is, I'm pretty sure, but maybe not. But I remember that. That was great. It was a good feeling. I'm always trying to think of good feelings now. Good memories. I think a lot of people are trying to dissect a lot of good memories because of what's going on, because of everything that's going on and all the heartbreak that's going on around the world and disappointment and everything else. But you have to look at the positive, and you have to look at the good memories too.
All right, so you are listening to WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM. You are listening to Middleboro in Review. You can also listen to us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Middleboro in Review by Joey Driscoll. Middleboro in Review on WVBF 1530 AM by Joey Driscoll. You can also listen to us on Audio Now, 605-562-7958. And also we have TuneIn as well as an option to listen to us as well. Type in on TuneIn, Hometown Talk Radio. So, we will take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the effects of coronavirus in Middleboro and in Taunton. We'll be right back.
Anybody else watching? No?
Okay, I'm going to do one first here.
DK Driscoll Oval Services is a company to call to get any cleanup.
And then this is the segment where we'll do that talk
any time of the year.
as well.
You can call them at
Because we're going to try to
505-2
get it all together in one
Is it
little
me or you
segment.
talking a little slow today?
metals,
What?
Is it me or you just talking a little slow today?
I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up on any words on the air.
like concrete, brick,
So maybe I am talking a little bit slower today.
Yeah, but I don't.
removal, brush,
What, am I talking too
logs,
slow?
and leaves. Also basements, attics, garages, houses, and property in
Alright.
Okay.
Again,
Don't
the
be
number
that.
is 508
I'm not.
Don't be a train fan.
I'm not.
2334. Call them today. You will not be
Don't be a train
disappointed
buff.
in DK Driscoll Removal Services.
Who's talking?
I don't know who's on.
Is that all, Scott?
I think, yeah, that's all Scott. I'm not sure who's on now. Alright, 6, 7, boom.
Hi, this is Ray Brown, inviting you to tune in to Talking Birds, a show about birds, birding, and conservation, right here on the WVBF,
Alright.
broadcasting from the Taunton Federal Credit Union studios at 14 Church
Oh, they
Street.
got him to
Join
do a
us for
promo?
informative
Yeah.
interviews
Oh, nice.
and fun information about birds and birding. It's Talking Birds, Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9, here on WVBF, AM 1530 and 99.7 FM.
TJ Driscoll Construction is based in Wareham, Massachusetts, serving the South Shore area and Cape Cod for 30 years. They specialize in septic repair and landscaping. Call TJ Driscoll Construction at 508-735-7966. For septic repair, new septic systems, retaining walls, foundations, and excavation, lawn installations, tree and shrub installations. TJ Driscoll Construction. Again, the number is 508-735-7966. Call them today. You will not be disappointed. Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair.
9-1,
complete auto service
and
for your
They got a PSA for coronavirus?
Yeah, the coronavirus one. We're going to play that next and then we'll go right back to
What about
the
Jim?
show. What?
What about Jim?
Oh, yeah.
They're
Jim.
open
Yeah, you're right.
Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5.
No, no, is it on my log?
4 on
On my log?
Fridays. Call them today.
I need to slap it onto my log here.
Who does the log? You or Chris?
1495.
I did it. I technically did it. I technically did the log, but, Chris goes in and adds something.
Did he add anything?
No.
No?
Just,
Yeah.
we have this one. Alright, let me do it.
Respiratory droplets produced when an infected
Yeah.
person
So keep an eye on that because you never know when he's gonna come in and drop something, you know, right?
lower your
Yes.
risk.
I think he mentioned that too.
Here are some
Really.
things you should do. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. You can also use hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. Take extra measures to put distance between yourself.
So what time you be here tomorrow? 9?
Avoid close contact.
No,
with
you said
people who
come
are
in,
sick.
come in
Stay
early.
home if
So,
you're sick, except
I'll be
if
8.
medical care.
Oh, he told
If
you
you
to
have
come in early?
severe
Yeah,
symptoms,
I'll be
please call
8.
911.
Yeah.
Cover
Well, Chris is still on
coughs
at 8,
and
right?
Chris on, yeah,
sneezes
Chris is on,
where
but
the
I'm
inside
gonna come
of
in
your
at 8.
elbow.
Most likely.
Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces. Older adults and people who have
Maybe
severe
8:30.
chronic medical conditions
I tell you, once they open the hair salons, we're gonna get in line from Michelle.
are at
Yep.
higher risk for more serious illness from COVID-19. This group should consult with their healthcare provider about additional steps to stay protected. For more information on COVID-19, please visit cdc.gov/COVID-19.
Hi, this is Jim Larkin. Hope you can join me every Sunday from noon to 2 o'clock here on WBBF, The Sounds of the Emerald Isle. We'll have some great Irish music, some folk, traditional, country, and contemporary, and sometimes some live singers in the studio. And to make you laugh, some Irish comedy. That's Sundays from noon to 2 right here on WBBF, 1530 Taunton, Middleboro, and on the internet at hometowntalkradio.com.
Back up. There we go. Awesome.
You do the numbers on the coronavirus now?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. And we're back here on Middleboro in review. Today is the 19th of April, 2020. We're halfway through the 4th month of 2020 already. Wow. This year's gone by pretty quick, don't you think?
No, for some people, no.
So, well, for some people, no.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, the last month has been like a year for a lot of people.
Yes.
I think
it's still very. For some people, yes, it's still very slow. A really slow year.
This is a delicate time because a lot of people have a lot of anxiety. A lot of people are not working. They don't know what a lot of people are having problems with food on their table right now.
Yeah.
So I say a prayer for everyone.
Absolutely.
In that
yes.
aspect, we have to keep thinking about those people like that.
It's very important to do that. Yeah.
And also, too, we need to say something about all the medical personnel who's been working the front lines, people working at the supermarket, people working at the drugstores, everyone keeping the lights on, everyone delivering the gas, delivering the oil, just keeping society going is very important. And just try to remember that when you see a truck trying to back in a driveway to deliver someone's oil. And I've realized that because before all this started, every time I'd size myself out to back into a driveway, because sometimes I have to deliver heating oil, people would, they would beep at me and give me hand gestures that I was blocking the road. I'd block the road. I don't get that as much now. People smiling, a lot of people wave to me.
And that's a good thing.
Well, it's a good thing. I just hope when this is all over, people remember how important everyone is. From the person who works at the drive-thru, especially the people in the supermarkets. They're in the front lines. Okay? The nurses and doctors and the medical and the people in the supermarkets mostly. Because I'm in a truck by myself. So I'm technically protected. And let's say I don't run into anybody, to be honest with you. Most people, like in the trash trucks, same deal. Very little contact with people. I think our service tech people have more contact than, say, the oil drivers. But the people in the supermarkets, they're vulnerable every day, in my opinion. And you have to keep that in mind. So if you're going to the supermarket for the 5th time this week for nothing, just keep that in mind. Just, if you don't need it, don't go. I can't stress this enough. Only if you can afford it, because I know a lot of people are hurting financially, the money. But if you have it, you have some money, and you have some money put aside, figure your budget out, try to do more takeout. Okay? Try to do more takeout than going to the supermarket. I know for a lot of people it's not an option. I understand that. I can't say, everyone go to takeout. Someone's sitting, listen and say, well, I can't. I can't afford it. I have to go to the supermarket. I understand that. But if you can afford it, you can try to do it. Do takeout.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And it's good that the big places are open. The Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King's, whatever. But always try to think of the smaller restaurants in town that need your support.
So we have coronavirus numbers in Middleboro. 55 confirmed cases. 15 cases that have recovered. So we have 40 active cases. 2 have passed away from coronavirus. And in Taunton, we have 251 cases. I don't know about any deaths in Taunton. I'm not 100% sure. I did not end up seeing any when I was looking them up. So I'm not sure about the total of deaths, if there is any.
Those numbers from yesterday. What time?
They're both from yesterday at about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
So
they update them every 24 hours?
Yes.
Or every 12 hours?
I think 24.
Okay.
I think it's 24 usually.
In some aspects, right?
Yes.
Oh, I understand.
For the national numbers, it's a lot more frequent than that. For the national numbers, I think it's updated every 10, 15 minutes, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. But it's updated frequently. The national numbers. And that is the John Hopkins numbers as well. That's the figures you see on news networks is from Johns Hopkins. So we're gonna have a roundtable discussion. If you want to call in on this,
it is a tough discussion, isn't it?
It is.
Talk about coronavirus every weekend.
Absolutely a tough discussion.
I like say what you want about sometimes you have to give even everybody a break. That even the people reporting all week long on the radio stations. You have to put your heart out to those people too, because they're talking. We come once a week and we tell people what's going on in Middleboro. We do our little show, and it is a show.
Yeah.
So we can pretty much have a wide variety of things we talk about. But people who report the news every 10 minutes, talking bad news.
Absolutely.
It's going to be psychologically crazy.
And it's been a tough year.
That's
for
what
them.
I'm saying. It really has.
Yes.
I mean, everyone who reports the news is human.
Yes.
And they have failings. And to talk these numbers over and over has to take a toll on them. So my heart's out to everyone out there who has to talk about this. I mean, it's kind of hard I feel it, and I'm only here once a week. But you're only here once a week.
Yeah.
Live, anyway.
Absolutely.
I mean, what we listen to all during the course of the week is one thing, but you got to say a prayer for everybody involved, in my opinion. People who discuss the news all week long. Just the news. Not an opinion, not a show, but the news. Just a raw news. Over and over and over. Going through their heads. Over and over and over. So you have to look those. Everyone's affected. Everyone's part of the process.
So May 4th is when the stay-at-home advisory expires. Supposedly. I'm not 100% sure.
Everything is to be determined. Joe.
It's to be determined. I'm not sure if
our numbers aren't looking good. They're still going up.
So I'm not sure if they will advise the date or not.
Well, the reason they have to come up with a real date for somebody, because if May 4th is the number, companies need to know a week ahead.
Yes.
Because you know how much food was thrown away? So all these restaurants, they have to reorder. So you're talking a week before, they got to get on the horn and start getting food in there.
And yeah, that's an important thing.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna tax the companies. The companies are ready to roll, but they need a week or two to restock. So I even think a lot of the restaurants might have problems on ordering. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully it's a smooth transition, but it's not like
once we reopen and once the stay-at-home advisory ends, whenever that will be, I think we should advise everyone in advance. Advise all the businesses in advance, especially the very essential ones, as well.
Well, they're open anyway.
They're open, yes. The people like the restaurants should be advised a week in advance, and then we should start, very, very slowly.
Well, that's
reopening.
Right.
What I'm
trying to say, Joe, is
state.
The reason why they have to stick to a date.
Yeah.
So if they were going to change it, they would have to change it like soon.
Yes.
Okay, because if they give you a back to work date, that's why Governor Cuomo switched the date to the 15th. Okay.
Yes.
Because if they were gonna go with the 4th or whatever their date was, I think he was April 30th or whatever New York was. People have to go by that to restock and reorder. They gotta have. I think, okay, now we're into it now. We're talking, here's our round table.
And there's some cities.
And we do have a round table. Yeah.
And there's some cities in the country that are saying it may take months for them to really start reopening.
Well, I think it's going to go fast. They have to say that. They have to err on caution.
Yeah.
The numbers dictate, right?
Yes.
Dr.
absolutely.
Fauci, Dr. Birx, everybody who's involved say the numbers have to dictate. Same with Andrew Cuomo, Governor Cuomo. Numbers have to dictate. So numbers. We're not out of the woods yet. I love how he's handling it. And I think Governor Cuomo and President Trump had a little squabble on the other day, but I don't know. You just look at it and it's just like, whatever. But, I think he even said it. And I listened to Governor Cuomo's press conference yesterday, and he said it's just everyone's just at every level has had it. Can't blame anybody. Everyone's emotions is running crazy. I want to open up. Everyone wants to open up, but we have to be smart about opening up.
We have to be very careful.
Very careful.
Yes.
Okay? And the whole thing, too, we're hearing a lot about some states overreaching their bounds. I guess you could protest, but I don't know. You know what I mean? You know what? If you don't like how a certain governor did something, at the end of the day, you still, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I'm just one person, you still have to social distance. You still have to do the right thing to get out of this. And if you don't like what the governor did, just vote him out. Okay? These people can be voted out. Anybody can be voted out in a few years when their term's over. Right?
Yes.
People got to remember that. They're not kings. Okay? They have powers for emergencies like this. That the whole idea, when they wrote rules and laws up about that, is they have a certain power.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never seen this before. We never see lockdowns in this country. And I feel that the American people are handling this pretty good. And I was thinking to myself all last week, hey, people are going to get crazy. They're going to want to get up. No, it's just go with the numbers. Because you don't want it to go back. And you don't want it to happen. All the hard work we did, we do not want to be wasted. We want it to go in vain. So what do you think? I mean, we do have a round table here, Joey. I'm just letting you know. We do have a round table in the studio.
Yes. So
you tell me. I don't want to be the showboat here. It's your show.
Assuming that they don't change the stay-at-home advisory date, assuming that they don't, they would have to advise businesses by next week, pretty much, on how to slowly reopen.
Well, they're gonna have their guidelines.
Yeah, they have to advise the businesses, and then the businesses have to, figure out ways how to reopen and very slowly.
So, in your opinion, what do you think that's gonna look like?
I think certain businesses are gonna reopen pretty much, not right away, but quickly.
No, once they get the green light, they're going to open. Joe.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, some businesses will reopen with no problems.
No, if they can, they will. Because
yes.
They have to.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think as far as restaurants, it's going to be the same thing as how, they size it down pretty quick.
They'll be open with guidelines given by the state.
Exactly. Like at the supermarkets, I know it's 40% occupancy.
Yes, and it will probably still be that way. It will definitely still be that way. Once we
Well,
reopen,
they'll work their way up in percentage wise.
Yeah.
You can open, but
and I think the special hours will still be in effect as well for the supermarkets as well.
Well, yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too. But once they start open the restaurants, it's going to be a certain percentage.
A certain amount of people.
No, certain percentage.
A certain percentage of people.
Of occupancy.
Yeah.
Okay? That's how they're going to have to do it.
Yes.
All right? It's going to be, 40% of your square footage. So if you got a little diner, it's square footage. That's tough for a little diner because how can you make money? But you just can't have 10 people on top of each other in a small diner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You need the room. And you need to then you got to work your numbers up and keep an eye on your cases. So it's really up to the people. And I've noticed it because everyone's social distancing, everyone's walking around each other. It's like a little Mario game. I walk around the guy, I see somebody, I walk in a store, I walk all the way around. That's just habit.
Yes, yeah.
That's just something I'm doing. So, what do you think about the transportation part? How do you think that's going to look, Joe?
Transportation, I think transportation will handle it well. I think they're handling it well now.
No, I'm talking about the subways.
The subway, I think they'll handle it well. The subways,
no, they're up and running. No, what I'm trying to say is,
I think they will handle the increasing of traffic once things reopen. That's what I mean.
It's going to have to be traffic because who's going to go back on the subway?
Yeah. No.
Would you?
No. I wouldn't. No. Yeah. So.
Some people are going to have to. So no, what I'm trying to say is, don't want to be devil advocate here. But
yeah.
I'm saying, once they start, they're going to do the same thing opening the companies too. It's going to be a percentage. It's going to be okay. Now a quarter of your work population can return. Then a week later, it's going to be okay. The numbers are good. Half. That's what Governor Cuomo did with New York. I thought it was brilliant. As he backed everyone off. And as the numbers were getting bad, they says, well, now it's 50%. Now you're only going to have 25% show up. But they did an initial drawback. It's going to be the same way. It's going to be an initial build up. But as far as public transportation, I think more if people own a car, they gotta drive in, and it's gonna be a while before I think people get confident about riding the buses and T's.
And also, mass gatherings won't happen.
No, not for a while.
So sporting events.
No. I don't think we're gonna see any sporting events until this is gone.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be wise until we have a vaccine. To be honest with you, I mean, you want to put 100,000 people in one area?
Yeah, I don't think that would be wise either. When it comes to the sporting events, I don't know when they will return. They'll have to return at some point with no fans. They'll have to at some point with no fans, and once
it's economics for those companies. That's
what
it is.
Yes, once it's safe, then they'll start slowly probably adding fans. They won't add them all together at once. I don't think that would be smart.
And the idea, too, even if they start lifting some restrictions, the idea, in theory, in whole, is to keep people home still.
Yes.
Even past it.
Absolutely.
Okay? Yeah. You don't want to get in a situation where, okay, we lifted the floodgates, we lifted the restrictions, now we got a floodgate. Now, look at those pictures in Florida. Jacksonville Beach. I think it was Jacksonville, wasn't it?
It was several beaches that during spring break, a lot of people ignored.
No, I'm not talking about spring break. I'm talking about they opened the beaches a couple days ago in Jacksonville.
Well, I wanted to mention that during spring break that a lot of people did ignore the state or several states' guidelines about social distancing. They didn't social distance.
That was back in March.
Yeah.
But we're not in March anymore.
I know, but I wanted to bring that up.
Right.
Because that was a problem then.
But we're in April now, right?
We are in April now, and yeah.
Okay, so they opened the beaches like a few days ago, and people flock out.
Yeah.
So There's where the discipline comes, folks. In my opinion, that's again. Just go back, even if you don't agree with Governor Cuomo, you're on his side. I think he's the best spokesman for this.
He's handling it extremely well.
He just knows what to say. Sometimes he gets a little lost and reminisces about family, which is fine, because he brings a human touch, a human element to it. I think you should go back and listen to him, even if you couldn't stand the guy before all this, because it's not about that now. It's about getting through this, and he's dealing with one of the biggest cities in the world, in the United States, anyway. That's the economic engine of the United States. We need to do that right. I don't know. We under a little rut, Joe. We kind of looking around like you don't want to talk about this anymore. So we got to take a commercial.
We do have to take the commercial break. I'm trying to gather my thoughts on it.
I'm a little passionate about it this morning.
We'll pick this up next week. I think I'll have some more thoughts about it next week. I'll pick this up next week.
You get some dates in history.
We have Today in History, and we have a little bit of a sports segment. I want to talk about the Patriots uniforms because they will be unveiled tomorrow. So I want to talk about that because I did promise we were going to talk about that.
Okay.
So we will be right back here on.
Bring out the duct tape for your co-host.
Here on Middleboro Review, WVBF 1530 AM, 99.7 FM.
Sorry, Joe.
No, it's fine. And I shouldn't have started off with saying this year is going by quick. I shouldn't have started it off with that because that makes me sound idiotic. Because it's not.
Well, that's
whatever. I
I think that's just more of a. You always said that, so that's more like
okay.
Wrong.
All right.
Getting a little contentious here, huh, Joe?
Yeah. We'll talk about it next week. I'll have some more thoughts about it because we don't really have a whole bunch of information when it comes to it because we don't know if they're gonna, extend the deadline.
You know what? It's our opinions. That's all it is.
Yes. We don't know if they're gonna extend it.
We'll know next week.
We'll know more next week.
We'll know more next week.
I think they'll probably. I'm not 100% sure who's on. I will know more about what's gonna happen next week.
Yeah, that's fine, Joey.
I think because they'll probably extend it.
Maybe I'm in the mood for scrapping, I guess.
And that's fine. That's fine. I like that. Makes the show interesting.
Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark Street, 91. Offers the highest
you got the power to shut my mic off too,
auto service.
Tomorrow is
I'm shutting your mic off.
Tomorrow is Patriots Day.
Yeah, I know. I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gotta go look at a job. Actually, I gotta talk to Kenny. I gotta see about getting a tire for my oil truck, which is getting down there. Get some oil, and then I gotta go look. I gotta look at a job at 10 o'clock. And I'll probably look at one Stoughton too. So I'm done tomorrow.
The virus that causes coronavirus
What happened?
is spreading in some of
You
our
cut that
communities.
Spark Street all the way?
Disease,
No, I didn't.
also known as COVID-19, is thought to spread mainly from person to person. Respiratory droplets produced.
Did you play gym?
I did.
Oh, yeah?
I played gym and I played Talking Birds once. I'm not gonna play him again.
Yeah, I gotta play gym again.
I don't want to play him twice.
I play gym
Wash
again.
your hands often with soap and water.
Because that's the
Because
show.
then I'll have to play the Talking Birds promo again twice.
That contains at least
I'm trying to not play it twice.
take extra measures to put distance between yourself and others.
I'm just trying to play the sponsors twice.
You're the man. You're in charge, not me.
Stay
I
home
work
if
for
you're
you.
sick,
I know.
except to get medical care. If you have severe symptoms, please call 911. Cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue or the inside of your elbow. Clean.
Do you remember the Patriots uniforms from the 90s? The blue uniforms with the white lettering.
Like heart or lung disease
I remember the old-fashioned
are at higher
Patriot.
risk
The red ones?
serious illness.
The old ones, yeah.
The red ones?
They're
The
going back to
Pat
that?
Patriot ones? No, they're not going back to that. They're going to go back to what I believe they had in the 90s. The blue uniform
Do you have a picture you can put on your Facebook?
I can. After the show, I'll put a picture of
But if you say you're going to do it, make sure you do it.
I will.
Don't
I will definitely do it.
forget. Don't forget.
Because
you
I
said
think that's what they're going to go back
the
to.
thing is, you said you would do things and didn't end up doing it. So that's the worst thing you do.
Because it's a new era of Patriots. Because we no longer have Tom Brady.
Right.
We're out of the Tom Brady era. I think this change reflects that. Honestly.
Right.
That's why they did the change.
Yep.
I think, in my opinion.
Again, the number is 508-735-7966. Call them today. You will not be disappointed.
Alright. Let's back up. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review for the 19th of April, 2020. So tomorrow is Patriots Day, the 20th of April, 2020. Tomorrow also would be the day that the Patriots unveil a change to their uniforms. Now, what this change might entail is there's a teaser video on their Twitter account pretty much alluding to that the outfits are going to be like the ones that they had in the 90s. The blue outfits with the white lettering. I think that's a good idea. I really do. I think that's a great idea. I'm glad that they didn't do anything to the logo like the Rams did. We'll not talk about the Rams today.
We're not talking about the Rams?
We won't talk about that logo change because it's not really well received in the league. The LA Rams new logo is not well received. So, the Patriots, they're going to have new uniforms, a uniform change. Starting tomorrow, they will unveil it. And I think it's pretty much going to be what they had in the 90s with the blue uniforms, the white lettering. And it also reflects a new era. We're no longer in the Brady era. Brady is no longer with the Patriots. And I think that this change reflects that. What are your thoughts, Don, on that?
I think so. Changing of the guard, maybe?
Yes, absolutely.
It's been, we've had Brady, 20 years?
20 years.
Very successful collaboration. I mean, it's a team effort. So, I was going to say Belichick and Brady, but, all the other players have everything to do with it, too.
Yes, every single player that's played for the Patriots.
And don't forget, it was Drew Bledsoe who helped win the very first Super Bowl for them, right?
Absolutely, yes.
No, was that the very first Super Bowl they won?
In 2001, yes.
Right.
He played. I think he played in that game, yeah.
Well, I think
I
think Brady got injured and he came in, and so can't forget about Drew Bledsoe.
Cannot. No. A lot of people do.
Oh, people forget about everything. A lot of people got to forget this whole incident, this whole coronavirus. It's just people forget. That's just how it is. Maybe not, but I don't know. We're gonna see. They're separated, so we'll see if their success was because they were together, or now, like Belichick, is he gonna get another quarterback and mold him to a champion, or is Brady gonna be a superstar? This is good to see if first time these two separated in 20 years.
So the draft's on Thursday, I believe. So
Roger.
Yes.
Roger.
Roger Goodell is going to host the draft like he always does.
From his living room?
From somewhere. I don't know where. His house, I think. I don't know where exactly. But it will definitely be a unique draft. That is for sure. And the Patriots might have a good draft.
So
we'll have to see what
happens. Is he going to do it from a
happens.
shed where all the dull tools are?
I don't know.
Not the sharp tools, the dull tools?
I don't know.
Just kidding.
Not a lot of people are fans of Roger Goodell down here. I'll just say that. All right, so
I don't really do too. You know what? I don't really follow sports, but I thought that was a good day.
So let's go to our Today in History, and we have some interesting Today in Histories. So we have this first one in 1775 during the American Revolutionary War. Actually, the beginning of the war, April 19th, 1775. The war begins with an American victory in Concord during the battles of Lexington and Concord, one of the more important battles of the American Revolutionary War. So that is a very important battle, and it's the beginning of the war. 1956, actress Grace Kelly marries Prince Rainier of Monaco. 1971, launch of Salyut 1, the first space station. And in 1987, The Simpsons first appear as a series of shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show, first starting with the episode Good Night. We have a birthday to talk about. Turning 30 today, he is a Boston Red Sox, Jackie Bradley Jr. And deaths on this day in 1882, Charles Darwin, English biologist and theorist. He was 73 or 72, depending on when his birthday was. So that will do it for the show. Next week is the April 26th edition, the last show of April. Any last words on the show?
All I can say is be safe, everybody. Let's get through this together. We're all Americans. We can get through this. We're all brothers and sisters, in my opinion. And just be safe and 6 feet apart. I think everyone's doing that that I see. And try to keep in mind, be careful, just the supermarket workers are very important to us. So if you don't have to go rushing to the supermarket to pick up a box of ring dings, don't.
All right. We will see everyone next week. Bye-bye, everybody. All right.
Broadcasting live from the Taunton Federal Credit Union Studios at 14 Church Green, we are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleboro, Taunton, and W259DB,
That was
Middleboro Center,
quick.
99.7 FM.
What, an hour?
Yeah.
Talk Radio.
You're right on the money, though. You can do the news and everything, yeah?
Yeah. Gotta be right on the money. I wasn't on the money last week.
You play the news? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm playing
USA Radio
God
News
cares.
with Chris
April
Barnes.
19th,
Despite President Trump's eagerness to
2020.
reopen the economy, the
For
pandemic
today's
model
Bread
that's
of
now
Life.
being used by the White House is saying it will be a bit longer before many places can reopen. Here's more from USA Radio's Wendy King.
The Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation said the estimates assume that when social distancing policies are eased, the actions will occur in conjunction with public health containment strategies, such as widespread testing and contact tracing. The model suggests the earliest some states may open is early to mid-May. This includes states like Montana, Hawaii, and New Hampshire. States like Connecticut and New York, with high numbers of cases, could open late May, early June.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to today's show. And we'll be back next week, April 26th, 2020.
This is USA Radio.